Hey, this is Learn Copywriting, and today we're going to go over how to write a sales letter for beginners. Now, here's what's going to be covered in this video. I'm going to go over the two questions that you must answer in order for a prospect to buy something from you, the three-step formula for making a sales letter, how to put together a basic sales argument, what you need before you start writing, the 5 stages of writing a sales letter, and the 4 parts of a sales letter. Obviously, this is not everything that you need, but this is a great foundation if you're learning the art of copywriting, if you're learning the art of putting together a sales argument, if you're putting together the copywriting, I don't know, putting together a sale for somebody, right? And all of this stuff works for emails and ads and all that other great stuff. Now, if you would like to download this sheet that I have here in the video, you can check out the link in the description. And let's just continue on. So, first things first, your sales letter's goal is to help the prospect answer 2 questions. These are the 2 universal questions that every prospect is going to have when they're reading your stuff, which is 1, do I want it? And 2, is it real, right? So the reason I talk about this is, let's say that I say that I have a weight loss pill that burns, 1,000 calories a minute, right? If that were real, they would want it. However, because they don't believe that it's real, they're not going to care, right? So these 2 things are paramount to your success, right? And actually getting your prospect to identify that they want something isn't that difficult. What's actually really hard is getting them to believe that it's real. And so a lot of what people do, a lot of what they focus on is actually getting the prospect to buy in to what they're selling and identifying that, oh, this is a real opportunity, right? And so every sales letter comes down to these 2 questions, at least in the beginning. There may be other questions that come up later, but in the beginning, these are the 2 questions that you have to focus on. Next, right? So in any sales letter, you have to convince a prospect that you have what they want, and then you have to prove that your offer is real. And if you do those 2 things, you have a chance of making a sale. And so here's the 3-step formula that you should use when writing any sales copy, okay? And that is desire plus delivery plus decision. Now I'm going to scroll down and go over this a little bit, but I'm probably going to scroll back up so I can draw, okay? And so what ends up happening is this formula is imperative, right? And this formula is imperative because it outlines in the right order how to set up your sales letters, right? So let's go over each term. Um, so desire, this is actually what your prospect wants. Whether that's losing weight, solving a problem, or making $1,000,000, you will never go wrong by talking about what your prospect wants. Delivery, right? Delivery, this is when you explain how you're going to deliver on their desires. So, how are you actually going to help them lose weight? Then you have decision. Why should they decide on buying this now? And this is quote unquote technically the close, by the way, but it's more than just saying buy now, right? Every person on this planet, just so that you're aware, is going to delay, 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 delay. They're going to want to wait. They want to think about it. They want to talk to people about it. They want to really, if they're going to go through the pain of buying, they want to make sure that they're making the right decision. And so the art of forcing your prospect to make a decision now is almost half of your creative job. It's really easy to send out an email that says, "Hey, my course is 50% off." It's actually very difficult to come up with a promotion on why there's a logical and rational reason to sell your course for 50% off, because if they think that you're just trying to sell them stuff, they're going to get all offended, right? And so that's the decision part of this. Now, why this order? Well, if you talk about your product or your service before they know that they want it, they're not going to care about it, right? And likewise, if you try to tell your prospect about the sale that you have going on, but they have no idea like what you're selling or how you can help them, you're pretty much wasting your time. And that's why desire plus delivery plus decision always works, right? And so here's how these two questions and the three-step formula go together. When I start writing a sales letter, here's what I do. First, I found out who I'm talking to. This is I don't know, at least 50% of the battle is finding out who your customer actually is and who they are and who's willing to buy it and who's just interested in it but not willing to buy it, right? Second, and this is what nobody really mentions, is who do you have to be in order to sell this offer, right? So if you're selling a weight loss supplement to women, don't you think it makes sense for you to be a woman? Don't you think it makes sense for you to say, hey, other ladies, this is how I lost weight. This is how you can lose weight too, right? And then after I figure out who I need to be, then I think about the offer itself. How can I make this offer better? Should I raise the price artificially and cut it down? Should I include some bonuses? Should I include a double your money back guarantee? What should I do to make the offer irresistible so that way they have no choice but to order, right? And then once I have those things figured out, I fill out a super basic version of a sales argument. Now, in case you're unfamiliar with the term sales argument is really just a really fancy wording for reasons why somebody should buy something from you, right? And so eventually your sales arguments will get very complex. But I always start out with something very simple, and it goes a little something like this, right? If you want a desire, then you should try delivery because of a big benefit, and you give them a reason to buy, or you give them a decision to buy, or a reason to make a decision now, right? And so here's some examples for you. So, like example number one, if you want to lose weight, you should try the keto diet because it will help you lose weight quickly without exercise. If you'd like my course on the keto diet, you should buy it now because it's 20% off, right? So lose weight, that is the desire. Keto diet course, that is the delivery. And then the decision is a 20% off sale, right? Super simple stuff, right? Example number two, if you want to learn how to make money in the stock market, you should try learning how to be a stockbroker. If you'd like my help, I have a complete course in becoming a stockbroker, and if you buy today, I'll even give you a free coaching call, right? Same formula. Make money in the stock market is the desire, right? Course in becoming a stockbroker is the delivery, and then a free coaching call is the reason to buy now, right? And then example number three. If you like your carpets cleaned, then you should hire my company to come clean it for you. That way, you don't have to do it yourself, and you can get a professional cleaning without wasting time or buying harmful chemicals. Since we're booked until next month, if you schedule today, we'll knock off $20, right? So the desire is to get your carpets cleaned, right? Then it's the delivery is a done for you service, right? Plus a $20 discount. There you go, right? Super simple stuff. Yeah, everybody wants to make this like really, really complicated, but I mean, if you just really nail down the basics, you will never go wrong, okay? Now that we have our sales argument, we're going to begin gathering two things. We're going to begin gathering assets for our sales letter, and we're going to start collecting proof that our offer does what we say it will do. So, assets, right? These are the things that are going to help inform the prospect that we have what they want. So usually these are facts, stories, and features and benefits, right? When you're selling a new vacuum cleaner, you're going to be really showing off the features and the benefits of those features, right? When you're selling a make money online course, you're going to be selling more of your story and yourself and the transformation versus the features, right? Then we need proof, right? Which is how people are going to believe that we can deliver on their desires. So we need stories. We need documentation, right? Pictures, videos, things that prove that we are who we say we are, that our stuff does what we say it will do, and demonstrations, right? Testimonials, all that good stuff. And once you have that, I mean, you're pretty much set, right? So then you enter the 5 stages of a sales letter, which is brainstorming, ideation, the rough draft, the rewriting, and the editing. So brainstorming. This is after you've gathered your research and you have enough information and you are just chomping at the bit to start writing, right? When you actually have an overflow of ideas, not you're struggling to come up with something. When you have an overflow of information, this is when you're going to start brainstorming. And this is when you have the information that you need to start coming up with ideas for your sales letter. The next thing is ideation. So let's say that you are like, hey, we're going to do a 20% discount because the CEO's birthday is coming up and he's turning, 20, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a 40% discount because he's turning 40, right? And if you schedule before his birthday, we'll give you a 40% discount, and we'll even include a free shampoo, right? That's when you start bringing ideas together. Oh, we're selling a stockbroker course. All right, well, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight, instead of using the guy who made the story, we're going to have one of his students be the person who's selling the course. And then we're going to have the student talk up the master, right? It's like, oh, okay, cool. That's when you start bringing ideas in together, right? And now you kind of have an idea for your sales letter, which is when you go into the rough draft. Um, a rough draft, by the way, I highly recommend this, honestly. When you're writing a sales letter, um, what usually ends up happening is you write one sales letter and you'll work on it for like a week, and you'll just kind of realize that the entire idea is off. And so you'll just throw it away and you'll start a new one. And that's perfectly fine. That's actually what people are paying you to do. They're paying you to get it right, not to keep rewriting and polishing a turd, right? So, if it takes you 7 drafts, right? Let's say that you have, uh, 6 drafts of a sales letter. Well, that's okay, because if the 6th draft is the one that makes all the sales, who cares, right? You actually need to go through all those other drafts in order to get to the right one. And so this is what I call the rough draft phase, right? It's when you actually are just trying to get to the actual draft that's going to make you some money, right? And once you finally hit it, it's like, sweet, right? And so that's like the rough draft phase. Once you have the rough draft, then you're going to start rewriting it, right? So that's when you start taking the sales letter, and you're just taking this main sales letter, and maybe you're just like tweaking little parts of it. Maybe you're just changing up like the flow, maybe the wording a little bit. You're kind of going through and taking in like you're like taking like, a piece like this piece out, and you're putting it down here, and you're taking, this picture, and you're moving it up, and you're really not screwing with the content as much as you're screwing with the presentation, right? So you're playing with the same parts, but you're really just kind of reformatting it into a clear and concise text where you don't have to like be confused and over explain things. And most people kind of forget. They kind of like say that this is editing. I don't consider this editing. I consider this rewriting, because it's not like I'm sitting there and I'm looking for grammar mistakes. I'm not sitting there trying to look for spell checks. I am legitimately rewriting the sales letter to be better and better and better and better. And so that's why I think it's rewriting. It's not editing, right? So then you're going to have what is called editing, right? The last piece. So once you have a sales letter that you really think is a winner, you're going to go ahead and edit for grammar and clarity, and then you're going to test it to see if it makes sales, right? And when you're in the editing phase, by the way, or really the rewriting phase, what you're going to start doing is you're going to start calling your friends. You're going to start calling the target market. You're going to start calling your mom and reading her your letter and kind of seeing how it's going over, right? You kind of want to get a live audience in front of it. And once the live audience is like, yeah, I'd buy that, right? Or they're like, yeah, where can I buy that? Or is this real? Can I buy it? Blah, 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 right? That's when you know it's time to start kind of toning it down and stop screwing with it and start really tightening it up, okay? And so that brings me to the 4 parts of a sales letter. And thank God there's only 4 parts, really. There's really only 4 parts. So there's the header section. So this is what I call the header section, which is like the headline, the text below the headline, and the pre-head, right? Then there's the lead. And the lead is really great. If you haven't read this, there's a book called Great Leads. I think it's by Mark Ford. It might be by Michael Masterson. But he talks about the 6 different types of leads, and these are the 6 leads that Agora uses in their sales letters. But basically, the first 500 to 800 words are going to sell your reader and why they should keep reading. Then you get into your sales argument, right? So that's the same stuff that we outlined before. And then you get into your close. And that's the 4 parts, right? Those are really the 4 parts that you should focus on. Those are the 4 parts that you're gonna play with forever. There really aren't any other parts, and there really shouldn't be. We've been selling stuff since the dawn of time. This is the format. So anyway, this was how to write a sales letter. I'm gonna put a link in the description for if you want to download this sucker, and I will see you soon.